Hello and very good afternoon to everybody. I'm your host Prashik Walke. Thank you for joining us for today's Pathos webinar, Privilege Escalation and Sensitive Data Exposure. Before we get started, please let me take a few minutes to introduce Pytho. Pytho is research-powered cybersecurity consulting firm. We have decade-long track record with a singular focus on cybersecurity. Pytho's impact is delivered every day through our three verticals. Number one, community and conference. Python runs hardware.io, a hardware security focused conference along with other initiatives. Number two, consulting and training. We primarily focus on offensive security assessment. Number three, products. Python has also released two products in a private beta trials. Exploity of firmware analysis framework and CloudFuzz, an advanced fuzzing framework. This slide is an overview of various consulting assessments we execute for our customer across the globe. We have delivered talks and workshops worldwide in some of the top security conferences like Black Hat and DEF CON. This has been our decade-long impact to contribute to a robust cybersecurity community in India and globally. Without further ado, let's get started with our webinar. Today's speaker, Arjun Singh, is a security consultant at Python. You can read about his wonderful accomplishments on this slide. Before I hand over to Arjun, a few housekeeping tips. Please be on mute. If you have a question, you can write it in the chat box. We will answer the questions during the intervals or towards the end of the webinar. A recording will be released later by our LinkedIn page. So please make sure you are following us on our LinkedIn. Arjun, over to you.
Oh, can I take it now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen as well.
Wait, first let me stop. Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in this today's session, we'll be talking about the privilege escalation and sensitive data exposure. Both attacks are not so much different, but in our cases, the sensitive data is actually a part of a little bit privilege escalation. So we'll be talking about it later on. So let's start with the webinar. So content of table. First, who am I? As Rashik said, I am a associate security consultant at Payato, and I have been into InfoSec for more than 4 years. Also, I'm a Cynic red teamer. So there are 4 more content. What is privilege escalation and its type? Authorize for automating the stuff. So we'll be using a burp extension called authorize for automating our privilege escalation and after that making privilege escalation as a sensitive data exposure. While on the fifth part, there are some key points we have to keep in mind while carrying out the attack. And on the sixth point, I will be talking about the JWT token manipulation, which I found a few months ago. I will be giving you an example.
Arjun,
yes.
There is some issue with the sound. Can you just check once?
Okay, let me check.
Your audio is not clear.
Audio?
Yes, just check once.
Is it clear now?
Yes, right now it is fine.
Okay. So after the 6th point, there will be a Q&A session where you can ask your doubt regarding this attack, just to keep the note of your doubt. Who am I has been done. So what is privilege escalation? Privilege escalation occurs when a user gets the access to more resource or data than they are normally allowed, and such elevation or changes should have been prevented by the application. This is usually caused by a flaw in application. The result is that the application performs action with more privilege than those intended by the developer or system. For web application, privilege escalation became the concern. The ultimate goal is to access the data which does not belong to the attacker. It might be read or modifying the data. So basically, let's say there is a web application and the application has a more than one role access. For example, admin and user. So in this case, the privilege escalation attack will be done by the user. For example, user will grant more access to the admin resources by maybe there may be a flaw in some endpoint which the developer did not prevented. So let's talk about the its type. Usually people refer to the vertical escalation when it is possible to access resource granted to more accounts. Example, acquiring administrator privileges from the application, and to horizontal escalation when it is possible to access the resource granted to similarly configured account. Example, in an online banking application, accessing information related to the user. So let's understand this one. Vertical privilege escalation is basically where a user is getting the privilege of an admin, and horizontal privilege escalation is basically an IDOR. User is getting the information of another user or accessing their data. Many web vulnerabilities may lead to horizontal privilege escalation. For example, cross-site scripting. Cross-site scripting, where we can steal the user session and escalate their privileges. This may allow attacker to steal user session to access their user account. CSRF also. CSRF attacks are also example of horizontal privilege escalation, where user is forging the HTTP request of victim. Vertical privilege of escalation is often rendered as a privilege elevation. It applies to all situations when the attacker gains higher privileges, most often root privileges, administrative privileges. Okay. So automating the stuff. After this, I'll be showing.
Arjun, the audio issues. There is still audio issue.
Still there is okay. Let me connect my another earphone.
Otherwise, are you using a headphone right now?
Yes, I'm using the earphone.
With you guys, you can try without that. So let's see how it is.
Okay, let me check. Is it clear now?
It seems, but let's see.
Hello.
Yeah. It seems clear. Go ahead.
So now, screen is hello.
Yes.
Is it visible now?
Yes, the slides are visible, but there's an issue with the audio.
Audio still there is an issue with audio.
No, right now it's fine. You can just
Right.
start. We'll see.
Okay.
Please check the chat box. So there you will find the feedback from everyone. So
Okay.
if they are finding any issues, they will just write it down. You can go ahead. now.
Okay. So automating the stuff with Autorize. After that, I'll be showing you that there are some key points you have to keep in mind while carrying out the attack. Using an Autorize is really easy. It is a burp extension for available with the community version as well as pro version. So that we can do this. Hmm. Usually when it comes to find this vulnerability, there are several requests where we have to perform the attack. But since we don't know which request would be vulnerable, here comes the authorize for automating the stuff for finding. Authorize is an automatic authorization enforcement detection for burp suit. It was written in Python by Bharat Tewali, an application security expert. Authorize was designed to help security tester by performing the automatic authorization test. With the last release now, Authorize is also perform so basically in an Authorize we have to feed the cookies of a low user and we have to perform the crawl the application, or basically we can say that we have to perform the CRUD operation from the higher admin so that the cookie will automatically get swiped and we can find our vulnerable endpoint. There are three enforcement status. Bypass is in a red color, enforced in a green color. Enforced is means that this is prevented by the developer so that this is patched. As is enforced, we have to manually check if the data is getting exposed or are we getting any kind of privileges as a user. So is enforced is basically in a orange color, enforced is in a green color, and bypassed is in a red color. How to use authorize? In order to use authorize, we will require the burp suite community or pro Jython as well. Just download the Jython and install it in your burp location, and then install the authorize from B App Store. Once you install the authorize, you'll find the authorize tab in the burp suite as visible in the picture. Okay, so now just start with the steps to reproduce how to use authorize. Just imagine that we have an application called education portal that there, and then there is a two roles, teachers and student. Let's say a teacher is an admin in a Chrome and user account is student in a Firefox. Imagine. Now let's say now navigate to the Firefox student account and capture any standard request of any logged in user. Just capture the request in order to feed it into the authorize here. Once captured, feed the cookie to authorize over here in this cookie section. Now we know that authorize is actually turned off. We have to turn it on. So turn on the authorize. Once you turn on the authorize, it will appear in a green color. Actually now it's updated, so it doesn't give the color. Or for the interception filter, just set up the in-scope item only so that the authorize will capture only the in-scope item which you are testing. Now go to the Chrome tab, which is a admin tab. Basically we will assume that this is a teacher's tab and perform any operation. For example, CRUD operation. For example, adding the student, viewing the student, deleting the student, and or assigning the student an assignment. Or here are some example of on invoice and billing of teacher. Remember to keep the burp interception turned off, but proxy should be enabled so that it will capture all the requests in burp. In the authorized tab, you will see that response is different length. Original length is basically you can see that 18,745, and modified length is basically swapped cookie from the user, swapped cookie, and their length is 18,747. That means an authorized is actually not able to identify if the authorization is implemented or not. So we have to manually verify this by right clicking on it and send the modifier request into the repeater. Once you can check, you can get to know that if the attack is working on. There are some of there are one reason also that it is getting is enforced status because the content our content is actually a content type text HTML. If it was a content type application JSON, it could show us bypass because an authorized work best with APIs. Actually, authorized work best with APIs since it is on a JSON based. There is an another authorization unauthenticated tab. Here we will get to know that if our information is exposed to the publicly domain or not via unauthorized detection. So let's making privilege escalation as a sensitive data exposure. In our cases, sensitive data exposure is nothing but a privilege escalation with read-only access. In the previous section, we learned how to find privilege escalation using authorize. Here we will see how to find sensitive data exposure. Let's say we fired our authorize performing CRUD operation from the admin tab. If in authorize we get enforced with green color in a post put patch request, just change the request method to get and go. If we are getting the information with modified request, it's vulnerable for sensitive data exposure to user side. Data can be anything, user's email, invoice, billing, detail, or anything depends on the features. Let's say there is a let's say there is a teachers and student portal. Now teacher have access to everything of their feature. For example, student data and which group user have to be put student have to be put in. For example there can be a group section where some particular student have to be put in a group. So user won't be able to know if there is another group is created or not. So here we can simply say that we can we can sensitive data exposure. We can do the sensitive data exposure on their endpoint. For example, let me show the let me type the URL over here to get the more understanding. Hmm. Let's say we have a URL called this. From the above below URL, you can see that there is a API request, user, group, and group ID. This group ID, so that your student can only see that this group ID, which is he has access to this. For example, he can only see the 123 ID. In order to make the privilege escalation, we have to manipulate the URL also. For example, if the user is getting all the group information which he is not intended to see, is he getting all the group information? If not, he will just manipulate the path. For example, is he getting all the user information? If not, there are some by. So we have a question. So if we have info status with any of those requests, type request to type. Okay, so someone Sujay Gaonkar. Uh, we will put the Q&A session after the session. Okay. So, for example, if the user is visible to the student, then there is a sensitive data exposure. If not, if there is still 403 status, there are some common bypasses of the API. For example, let's say if we put double slash, it might bypass, but it is not 100% sure that it will bypass this API request. it might bypass. There are some cases where the attacker was able to see the full access of the backend system. And there was another section as well. How to there are some like how to find the privilege escalation under the admin and user role. There are some features that the developer might forget to implement the authorization in between that. For example, we have a checkbox called send the report to student. We know that if admin tab has a this checkbox, for example, send the report to student email, so the student will receive the report to their email. But student won't be able, but here the student don't have their checkbox. So only admin will have the checkbox, but not student. So are we getting any privileges over here? There are chances that this request can be a patch request. So just try to find the privilege escalation over here. If not, see if the content type is text plain. So we can make the CSR request over here. Once we, if the CSRF is possible, we can still get the privileges. So, hmm. So let's talk about the case study of JWT token exploit. So few months back, I was on a program where it was actually education portal of student and teacher where teacher can invite the student into their organization or a school via email. So the email invitation was containing actually a JWT token, and it was a fraud because the signature was not getting verified from the server side. There is a three parts of a JWT token: header, payload data, and signature. Signature is actually the last part. So that I just manipulated the payload data section and just decoded. It was basically JWT token is base64. So the payload data was actually base64 decoded. So I just decoded the payload data and it was containing actually an organization ID and a group ID. I just edited the organization ID with my victim's ID and group ID as well, and just reformed the URL. Once I reformed the URL and accepted the invitation, I was able to join my victim school as a learner. This was actually a horizontal privilege escalation. So after that, I tried to fire the authorize and tried to do the vertical privilege escalation as well with using the authorize. And I was able to see the entire information of my victims' schools, users, groups, and other things as well. There are some applications you have to understand in order to find the privilege escalation. For example, there can be a online website builders as well. There, for example, Wix and Weebly. So, are you able to add your co-partner into that account so that partner won't be having more access than you have than you're given the authorization? There can be email campaign as well, email campaign application. There can be a CRM based application as well. So that after understanding the features and roles, features, and rules, you have to perform this attack. You can't just directly jump into application and fire the overrides. Just understand the roles and privileges and perform the attack. To get the more task easier, just we can also go to our HTTP history to find the request which might authorize did not cached over here. So we are actually done with our session. So Kashi, let's start with the Q&A session.
Yes, you can just check the chat box and you can ask everyone if they have any question. They
Okay.
can ask the question and you can pick it.
Okay. And recording will be available on YouTube and LinkedIn. Just follow the Paya2 as well.
So everyone, if you have any question, you can just ask in the
Just
chat
ask in
box.
the chat box. Okay. So someone just asked. So if we have enforced status with any of the request type, for example, put, and if we change the request type, then it is that for sure vulnerable things. No. It's not sure if it is vulnerable or not. We are just trying to find out the vulnerable request. It's not 100% sure that if it is will be vulnerable. Can you show by picture of video? It would be more clear. Actually, I can't show you any privilege escalation POC since it is strictly prohibited for us. But if you want, I can show you a lab environment on another session as well. Any other questions? What type of privilege escalation do you find most? I usually find vertical user to admin since we have a uh, we have a production application where a user and admin tabs are visible, so that it is easy for us to find this. Yes. Signature was not getting validated on user. Signature was not getting validated on a server side. What could be test case or bypass other than changing request? What what could be a test case? There are actually no test cases. You have to perform like this only, or you can perform by just manually as well. There are okay. So I got a point that if you are getting a CSRF token in a header, just copy the CSRF token with cookie and paste it into your authorize so that it will be easy for us to find privilege escalation. And if the CSRF token is in our body, so you have to manually replace the CSRF token to check the privilege escalation. The CSRF token is actually a problem for privilege escalation. Once we find it may give sometime false positive as well. So just cross verify everything. Only main domain vulnerable to privilege escalation. Someone just asked Charan side. Only main domain vulnerable to privilege escalation or subdomain can also be vulnerable. Any case and just be fine. Uh, main domain or a subdomain can also be vulnerable for privilege escalation, but you are actually asking for the root privilege escalation, which is actually a admin site. So there can be some other test cases as well. Mitigation is simply that developer has to verify the user role and admin roles. For example, if the application is built on Node.js, so the developer has to to put the middleware in between the users and the admin. So middleware basically identify as a privileges or authorization. Actually, we don't have a Pramod Sagar. Actually, we don't have a demo lab currently. I haven't set up it yet. Amit Kumar just asked, can we automate basic JWT token vulnerabilities? I don't think so yet. What are the common endpoint where you find privilege escalation? Common endpoints are user endpoints where entire users are being disclosed to the low access privileges, or sometime billing information may be visible to the user. Invoice can also be vulnerable. These are some common endpoints you will find. Adesh Namdev just asked, this will allow attacker to forge any token and get into a room. Sorry, I didn't understood you. Can you please tell us the difference between IDOR and privilege escalation? Basically, IDOR is where we are manipulating the IDs to get the user's data. Where a privilege escalation is, we are actually finding a vulnerable endpoint API request where a user can access the higher privileges. IDOR is basically horizontal where user is getting another user information, and privilege escalation basically user is getting the admin's information. Any other questions? If what if admin interface is not accessible over internet, sir? You are actually talking about the main admin panel, but I was talking about the entire application of admin and user, where for example, I already showed you example of website builder where we can build an online application. There are many tools available for JWT token. There are in the Bubby App Store. You can find out some more extensions regarding this. If fully configured Swagger posting file required to perform this attack, is yes, we need this. We need this. We need the fully configured Swagger. One thing I would like to tell you that, for example, there is a Wix online website builder, and you can easily create the website over there. So onto your website, if you build your enable the contact form, just to keep that if the Wix is vulnerable or not for blind accesses. Once the user is entered the blind accesses into the contact form, then the admin panel might be vulnerable for blind accesses. So there is a privilege escalation as well. Any others? Okay, so Prashik, I guess we can stop. Sir, I want that if we can change the, okay. So if we change the value of CSRF header, it can be bypassed. No, it's not possible. It is not actually possible, but there might be a chances. Gaurav Bhatia, actually, can you please elaborate more? are we changing the CSRF header with admin or student account? Rajat, how to look for IDOR when there is a no IDs in the entire web app? Like how can we approach this kind of web app? Rajat, actually, then see that if we are making any object in the application, it is it is important to assign the IDs. IDs can be alphanumeric or just a numeric. So that alphanumeric actually not guessable. So that we can actually can't find the alphanumeric or not guessable. We can't find the IDOR over here. Also, if it is vulnerable for IDOR, we can't guess the alphanumeric IDs. Gaurav Bhatia. So I have tried, it's random. So can you please elaborate more about this? What are you trying to explain? Like, no. CSRF can't be exploited by just changing the value header. But it is not 100% sure. It might be possible if the CSRF token is not getting validated from the server side. What are the main cases where sensitive data exposure occur? It can be occur on any endpoint, any API endpoint. You just have to find out the endpoint and keep changing the request. If it is post, try to make it get, if you're getting the information as a user account, it is sensitive data exposure. It can be a user group, categories, invoice billing, and the other features which application has built. Okay, so Prashik, I guess we can, like, if any contestant hunting sensitive data exposure in app, then first of all, what should he look for? He should look for, if we talk about the direct sensitive data exposure, for example, getting the internal information, we can look for the directory as well. We have to look for JS files as well. Are we getting any other hidden endpoints over there? There are some recon techniques where we can find the hidden endpoint where sensitive data exposure can occur. It can be a GraphQL as well. GraphQL as well, where the sensitive data may expose. Can we perform CSRF attack when the application is using JSON? Yes, we can still perform, but there are some limitations where we have to check if the content type is actually getting validated from the server side. So if the application is there was a, CSRF on a Flash CSRF available, but I don't know if it is working in today's browser or not. So if the application was JSON, Flash CSRF can be done. Also, we have to set a content type text plain in order to check if the content type is actually getting validated. If it is not getting validated, we can perform our own request which contain the text plain, and the CSRF can be done.
So Arjun, we can wait for 2 more minutes. If there are any questions, then you can take those questions. Otherwise, then we will.
Okay.
Guys, please ask questions if you have any. So otherwise, we will be closing the webinar at 2:45. I think we don't have any more questions, Arjun. So,
Yeah.
okay, so let me share. Yeah. So thanks to all participants for being so attentive. We'll be sharing the webinar recording on YouTube channel or on our LinkedIn page as well. So thanks again.
Thank you, Arjun.